Clear left, hallway clear, bedroom clear, target is secure. Maya Davis didn't wake up to an alarm clock that Tuesday. She woke up to the sound of her front door being smashed off its hinges. Before she could even scream, 3 blinding tactical lights were trained on her face. She scrambled backward on her mattress, pulling her thin duvet up to her chin, her heart hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. Maya, don't shoot, please, I don't have anything. She thought it was a robbery. In this neighborhood, you didn't ask if you were going to be robbed, you asked when. But robbers don't wear Kevlar vests. Robbers don't move with surgical precision. And robbers certainly don't freeze and snap to attention when a 4th man walks into the room. The 4th man wasn't wearing tactical gear. He was wearing a dress blue military uniform. His chest was heavy with ribbons, Silver Star, Purple Heart Medal of Honor. On his shoulder, 4 silver stars gleamed in the harsh light of the flashlights. General Vance, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He stepped over the debris of Maya's broken door, his face unreadable. He scanned the tiny, peeling room, the hot plate, the leak in the ceiling, the terrified girl on the floor. General Vance, voice deep, calm, authoritative, weapons down. Stand down. The soldiers lowered their rifles instantly. The room went deadly silent, save for the hum of the refrigerator. General Vance, are you Maya Davis? Maya, yes, am I? Am I under arrest? The general took a step forward. He pulled a photograph out of his pocket. It was a grainy surveillance photo of a man sitting on a park bench. General Vance, we aren't here to arrest you, Miss Davis. We are here because you are the last person to make contact with this asset. He turned the photo around. It was Elias, the homeless man Maya fed every morning. General Vance, where is the commander? Maya, commander, that's just Elias. He lives on the street. General Vance, Miss Davis, look at me. The man you call Elias is holding the nuclear encryption keys for the eastern seaboard, and he has been missing for 48 hours. Now I am going to ask you one more time. Where is he? To understand why the U.S. military broke down a janitor's door, we have to go back. We have to go back to the bench. The Sterling Tower rose 50 stories into the gray sky. It was a cathedral of money. Men in $5,000 suits rushed through the revolving doors, their eyes glued to their phones, checking the Nikkei index and the London Exchange. And right outside, invisible to everyone, sat Elias. He was a fixture, a part of the pavement. He wore a coat that was 3 sizes too big and smelled of stale rain. His beard was a tangled mess of white and gray. To the bankers, he was a nuisance. To security, he was a target. To Maya, he was the only person who said good morning. Maya hurried down the block, clutching a brown paper bag. She checked her watch, a cheap plastic thing with a cracked screen. 6:05 a.m. She was running late. She reached the bench, breathless. Maya, I'm sorry, the bus broke down on 4th Street. I had to run the last 3 blocks. Elias looked up. His eyes were startlingly blue, cutting through the grime on his face. He didn't look like a man who had slept on concrete. He looked like a king sitting on a throne of dirt. Elias. Breathe, kid, the building isn't going anywhere. And neither am I. Maya sat down next to him, ignoring the dirty looks from the businessmen walking past. She opened the bag. Maya, I got the turkey sandwich today, and I managed to snag a coffee from the break room before the manager saw me. It's got 2 sugars. She handed him the items. It wasn't much, gas station food essentially, but Elias took it with a slow, deliberate nod. Elias, turkey. A robust choice. Thank you, Maya. He took a sip of the coffee, closing his eyes. Elias, you didn't eat yours. Maya, what? Elias, I count the calories, Maya. Yesterday you gave me half your bagel. Today you gave me the whole sandwich. You're losing weight. Your uniform is loose at the shoulders. Maya pulled her coat tighter, looking away. Maya, I'm fine, Elias, just budgeting. I have to pay my sister's tuition this week, or they drop her classes. Elias paused. He set the coffee down on the bench, his demeanor shifting instantly. The homeless vibe vanished. He leaned in, his voice dropping to a whisper. Elias, tuition, University of Illinois, the nursing program. Maya. Shocked, how did you know that? Elias. You carry a biology textbook in your bag, 2nd edition, and you check your phone every day at 3 p.m. That's when the bursar's office sends out payment reminders. I observe, Maya. It's what I do. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, tattered notebook. He scribbled something quickly. Elias, The market is going to correct itself today. Technology sector is going to take a hit. Tell your boss. Tell him to short the silicon stocks. Maya let out a dry, tired laugh. Maya, Elias, if I tell Mr. Sterling to short a stock, he'll short my employment. I just empty the trash. Elias, darkly, Sterling. Is he the one in the gray Italian suit? Walks like he owns the pavement. Maya, that's him, the vice president. Elias, he doesn't own the pavement, Maya. He doesn't even own his own soul. Beware of men who love mirrors. Maya didn't know how right Elias was. Inside the lobby, Marcus Sterling was screaming. He was 32 years old, had a trust fund the size of a small country's GDP, and a temper that made grown men cry. He stood by the elevator bank, berating a young assistant. Sterling, I asked for the report in Helvetica. Helvetica, this is Ariel. Do I look like I read Ariel? Are you trying to insult me? He threw the papers into the air. They fluttered down like snow on the polished marble floor. Sterling, pick it up, and if I see a serifon again, you're fired. The elevator dinged. Sterling straightened his tie, checked his reflection in the brass doors, and stepped out into the morning air. He needed a cigarette. He pushed through the revolving doors and stopped dead. There, 10 feet away, was the blemish. The old man, and sitting next to him was the cleaning girl. Sterling's lip curled. This was the third time this week he had seen them. It was ruining the image of the building. Clients were coming in today, Japanese investors. They couldn't see this. He marched over. Sterling, hey. You, Maya jumped up so fast she almost knocked over the coffee. Maya, Mr. Sterling, I was just... Sterling, I don't care what you were just. You are loitering. You are fraternizing with vagrants while wearing my company's logo. It's disgusting. He turned his eyes to Elias. Elias didn't stand. He just chewed his sandwich, looking straight ahead. Sterling, and you. I told security to clear this area. Elias, calmly, public property. Marcus, check the zoning laws. Sterling's face went red. Sterling, excuse me, did you just call me by my first name? Elias, I call things what they are. You are a Marcus, you aren't a sir yet, you haven't earned it. The silence that followed was deafening. Maya stopped breathing. Nobody spoke to Sterling like that. Not the board members, not his father, and certainly not a homeless man. Sterling stepped forward, invading Elias' personal space. Sterling, you think you're funny? You think you're smart? Sterling saw the small plastic bag of Elias' belongings sitting near his foot. The bag contained a toothbrush, a spare pair of socks, and the notebook. With a vicious, calculated swing of his leg, Sterling kicked the bag. It flew into the street, right into a puddle of oily water. Maya, no. Maya didn't think, she acted. She ran into the street, dodging a taxi that honked loudly, and grabbed the wet bag. She ran back to the sidewalk, panting. Maya, why would you do that? He has nothing. Sterling, laughing cold, he has nothing because he is nothing. And you, he grabbed Maya by the arm of her uniform. Hard. Sterling, you listen to me, you little rat. If I see you feeding this animal one more time, I will fire you, and I will make sure you never get a job in this city again. I will blacklist you so hard you won't even be able to get a job scrubbing toilets at the bus station. He shoved her back. Sterling, get inside, now. Sterling stormed back inside, feeling powerful, feeling like a big man. He didn't see what happened next. Maya was crying, silent tears of humiliation. She handed the wet bag back to Elias. Maya, I'm sorry, Elias, I'm so sorry, I can't talk to you anymore, I can't lose this check. She expected Elias to be sad, she expected him to be defeated. But when Elias looked up, the old man was gone. His posture changed, his spine straightened. The tremors in his hands vanished instantly. He stood up, towering over Maya. The aura around him shifted from helpless to lethal. Elias, he touched you. Maya, what? Elias, he grabbed your arm. He threatened your livelihood. Maya, Elias, it's okay, I'm used to it, just please go somewhere safe. Elias reached into his coat. He bypassed the notebook. He reached into a hidden inner pocket, one that was sewn shut. He ripped the stitching with his thumb. He pulled out a coin. It wasn't money. It was heavy, silver with a black matte finish on the edges. On one side was an eagle clutching a lightning bolt. On the other, a serial number, CMDR-1. He grabbed Maya's hand and pressed the coin into her palm. Elias, listen to me very carefully, Maya. The game has changed. Maya, Elias, you're scaring me. Elias, take this coin, go to your apartment, do not sell it. Do not show it to the pawn shop, put it on your dresser. Maya, why, what is it? Elias, it's a beacon. I'm activating the protocol. He looked at the Sterling Tower, his eyes narrowing. Elias, Marcus wants a war. I'll give him a war. But first, I have to make a call. Maya, a call? You don't have a phone? Elias smiled, a terrifying, confident smile. Elias, I don't need a phone, kid. I have the network. He turned and walked away. He didn't shuffle. He marched. A strict military cadence. Left, right, right. He disappeared into the crowd of commuters, leaving Maya standing alone with a heavy silver coin. Maya didn't see him the next day, or the day after. She went to work. She scrubbed the floors. She avoided Sterling, but the unease in her stomach grew. The coin sat on her dresser at home. It felt wrong. It felt hot to the touch. On Friday, she was cleaning the executive bathroom on the 50th floor when she overheard Sterling talking on his phone in the hallway. Sterling, I don't know who is doing it. Someone is blocking our trades. Every time we try to buy, the price jumps. Every time we try to sell, the bottom falls out. It's like someone knows our algorithm. Sterling sounded panicked. Sweaty, Sterling, find out who it is. It's a ghost. It's insider trading. Fix it. Maya stayed quiet in the bathroom, clutching her mop. The market will correct itself, Elias had said. Was it possible? Was the homeless man doing this? No. That was crazy. He was just a guy who liked turkey sandwiches. She went home that night, exhausted, and fell into a deep sleep. Until 4 a.m. Which brings us back to the broken door, the soldiers, and General Vance. Maya looked at the general, her hands shaking. Maya, I haven't seen him in 3 days. He gave me this. She pointed to the dresser. The silver coin was sitting there, but now it was glowing. A faint, pulsing blue light was emitting from the center of the eagle. General Vance walked over to the coin. He picked it up with a reverence usually reserved for religious artifacts. General Vance, active, he whispered. He actually did it. He turned to the soldiers. General Vance, secure the perimeter. We have a code black. Establish a direct line to the White House. Maya, the White House for Elias. General Vance turned to Maya. He walked over and placed a hand gently on her shoulder. General Vance, Maya Davis, the man you know as Elias is not homeless. His name is Commander Elias Thorne. He was the architect of the global financial defense system. He is the only man in the world who can crash the stock market with a single line of code. Maya's jaw dropped. Maya, but why was he living on the street? Why was he eating my sandwiches? General Vance, because he was hiding. Hiding from people who wanted to use him. But 3 days ago, something made him break his cover. Something made him angry enough to turn the system back on. The general looked at Maya with intense seriousness. General Vance, he sent us a message with his location signal. It was 2 words. Maya, what words? General Vance, the message said, target Sterling. The general checked his watch. General Vance, get dressed, Miss Davis. You're coming with us. Maya, where? General Vance, smiling grimly to the bank. The commander is going to pay Mr. Sterling a visit, and he requested that you have a front row seat. A convoy of 3 black armored Suburbans tearing down the ominous 90 expressway. Rain lashes against the bulletproof glass. Inside, the vibe is tense. Maya Davis was sitting in a vehicle that didn't officially exist, next to a man who controlled the most powerful military on Earth. General Vance was scrolling through a tablet, his face illuminated by the cold blue light of the screen. Maya, still shivering in her janitor uniform under a heavy wool military blanket, finally found her voice. Maya, General, you said he was a commander, but he lived on a bench. He dug half-eaten sandwiches out of the trash. How? Vance didn't look up. He swiped a finger across the screen, authorizing a tactical perimeter. General Vance, it's called deep cover, Maya, but Elias took it further than anyone else. He didn't just hide. He erased himself. Vance turned the tablet toward her. On the screen was a dossier. It showed a younger Elias in a flight suit, shaking hands with presidents. It showed him standing in front of a massive server room. General Vance. 20 years ago, Elias Thorne wrote the algorithm that protects the U.S. stock market from cyberterrorism. We call it the Iron Dome. He holds the only master key in his head. Maya stared at the photo. The man looked so strong, so different from the fragile old man she knew. Maya, why did he run? General Vance. Because he found a bug in the system, a backdoor. Someone was using his algorithm to steal billions. When he tried to report it, they tried to kill him, so he vanished. Vance looked out the window at the approaching skyline. General Vance, We thought he was dead until you used his debit card at the hospital. Maya, I didn't use a debit card, I just gave them his name. Vance smiled grimly. General Vance, that's not how the alarm was triggered, Maya. Tell me exactly what happened at the intake desk. 2 weeks ago. The day the world almost ended for Elias. It was humid. The air felt heavy like a wet wool blanket. Maya was running late, sprinting toward the bench with the thermos in her hand. She saw him from a block away. He wasn't sitting. He was swaying. Elias was clutching his chest, his face the color of ash. Maya, Elias! She dropped her bag and ran. She caught him just as his knees buckled. He was heavy, dead weight. Elias, gasping, ... protocol. Broken, they found me. Maya, who found you? Elias, breathe, you're having a panic attack. Elias, not panic, poison. His eyes rolled back. He convulsed, his body seizing violently on the concrete. The thermos rolled into the gutter. Maya, help, somebody help HIM. The morning commuters froze. A man in a tailored suit stopped, looked at the seizing homeless man, and then stepped over him to keep walking. Suit man, disgusting, someone call sanitation. Maya, he's dying, you heartless. Maya didn't finish the insult. She ripped her phone out. Her hands were slippery with sweat. She dialed 9-1-1. Maya, ambulance, Sterling Plaza, code blue. Hurry, she ripped off her own coat and put it under Elias' head to stop it from hitting the pavement. She held his hand. It was freezing cold. Maya, stay with me, old man. You promised me a story about the CIA. You don't get to die until you tell me. 50 floors above, Marcus Sterling was watching the scene from his floor-to-ceiling window. He held a glass of scotch, even though it was 9 a.m. He watched the ambulance pull up. He watched the paramedics load the trash onto a gurney. His phone buzzed. It was a text from an unsaved number. The rat is down. Hospital route confirmed. Sterling smiled. It was a cold, reptilian smile. He turned to his head of security, a massive man named Brutus. Sterling, make the call. Ensure he doesn't leave that hospital alive, and find the notebook. He had a notebook. I want it. Brutus, and the girl, the janitor. Sterling took a sip of scotch. Sterling, let her watch. It's a good lesson for the staff. St. Vincent's was a place where rich people went to get better and poor people went to get billed. Maya stood at the intake desk, breathless, dirt on her uniform, tears streaking her face. The receptionist, Nurse Miller, was typing slowly, deliberately ignoring her. Maya, please, he's in room 4. The doctor said he needs an MRI immediately, but they won't turn the machine on without an approval code. Nurse Miller stopped typing. She looked over her glasses. Nurse Miller, Miss Davis, is it? We've been over this. No insurance, no MRI. That machine costs $3,000 a scan. Maya, he's dying. He's having a stroke. Nurse Miller. Then he should have gone to county. We aren't a free clinic. Now step back. You're getting dirt on the counter. Maya didn't step back. She slammed her hand down on the desk. Maya, he is a veteran. He served this country. Does that mean nothing to you? Nurse Miller. Prove it. Show me an identity card. Show me a driver's license. Show me anything other than a dirty coat and a sob story. Maya felt desperate. She reached into her pocket. She felt the heavy silver coin Elias had given her. The eagle has landed, he had said. She slammed the coin onto the counter. Maya, this, he gave me this. Does this prove anything? Nurse Miller looked at the coin. She picked it up, sneering. Nurse Miller, a coin? You're trying to pay with a souvenir coin? Security. 2 large guards started walking toward Maya. Guard, ma'am, you need to leave. Maya, check the serial number, just type it in. Nurse Miller laughed. Nurse Miller. Fine, I'll type it in so the system rejects it, and then you're going to jail for trespassing. She typed the code on the back of the coin, CMD-1 alpha. She hit enter with a smug look on her face. Silence. Then the screen didn't just flash, it went black. A siren, not a fire alarm, but a low, terrifying digital warble, started coming from the computer speakers. Computer voice, priority 1 alert. Asset LOCATED. Stand by for command. Nurse Miller froze. The security guards froze. Suddenly, every phone in the lobby started ringing at once. The desk phone, the nurse's cell phone, the patient's cell phones. Nurse Miller picked up the desk line with a trembling hand. Nurse Miller, hello? A voice on the other end, distorted, metallic, terrifying, spoke loud enough for Maya to hear. Voice, this is the Pentagon Command Center. You have just scanned a Tier-1 asset. If that patient's heart stops beating, your hospital will be classified as a hostile target. Do you understand? Nurse Miller dropped the phone. She looked at Maya. She looked at the security guards. Nurse Miller, screaming, "Clear the trauma room, get the chief of surgery, now move." 3 hours later, Elias was in the presidential suite. He was hooked up to machines that cost more than Maya would earn in a lifetime. Maya sat by his bed. The doctors had found traces of a neurotoxin in his blood. Someone had tried to poison him. Elias opened his eyes. Elias. Maya, I'm here, you're safe. The Pentagon. They called, they threatened to blow up the hospital. Elias tried to laugh, but it came out as a cough. Elias, Vance, that drama queen, always overreacting. Maya leaned in close. Maya. Elias, you need to tell me the truth. Sterling. He's not just a bad boss, is he? Elias sat up, wincing. He pulled the IV tape off his arm. Elias, Sterling is a front. He's laundering money for the cartels through the Asian markets. My algorithm. He stole a piece of it to hide the transactions. Elias grabbed Maya's arm. His grip was strong again. Elias, he knows I'm here. The poison didn't work, so he'll send a cleaning crew. We have to move. Maya, move. You can barely walk. Elias, I don't need to walk. I need to run. He pointed to the closet where the nurses had put his dirty clothes. Elias, my coat, the lining, rip it open. Maya ran to the closet. She grabbed the smelly old wool coat. She found a seam that felt thicker than the others. She ripped it open. Inside wasn't money. It was a black flash drive and a keycard with a golden chip. Elias, that keycard opens the private elevator at Sterling Plaza. And that drive contains the evidence that puts Marcus Sterling in federal prison for life. Suddenly, the door to the hospital room burst open. It wasn't a nurse. It was General Vance, flanked by 4 Navy SEALs. General Vance. Commander Thorne, you look like hell. Elias smiled, swinging his legs out of bed. Elias, good to see you too, Vance. Did you bring my suit? Vance held up a garment bag. General Vance, tailored, Italian silk. Just how you like it. Elias looked at Maya. Elias, get ready, kid. You're done scrubbing floors. Tonight we take out the trash. The convoy screeched to a halt outside Sterling Plaza. It was midnight. The building was dark except for the penthouse. General Vance, Maya, and a squad of soldiers marched into the lobby. The night guard, Frank, was sleeping at the desk. He woke up to the sound of 20 boots hitting the marble floor. Frank, hey, you can't be in here. This is private. He stopped when he saw the assault rifles. General Vance, we're federal agents, Frank. Go back to sleep. Maya walked to the elevator. She felt different. She wasn't holding a mop. She was holding the keycard Elias had given her. She swiped it. The panel lit up gold. Elevator voice, welcome, Commander. The doors opened. General Vance, he's waiting for us upstairs. Remember, Maya, don't say a word. Just watch Sterling's face. Maya, is he going to kill him? General Vance, no, death is too easy. The commander is going to take the only thing Sterling cares about. Maya, what's that? General Vance. His money. The elevator rocketed upward. 10th floor, 20th floor, 50th floor, ding. The doors slid open to reveal the massive boardroom. The scene inside was chaos. Papers were everywhere. Marcus Sterling was frantically shredding documents. And sitting at the head of the table in the CEO's chair, wearing a perfectly tailored black suit, was Elias. He spun the chair around slowly. He wasn't the homeless man anymore. He was the predator. Elias. Hello, Marcus, I believe you have my notebook. 3 days after the incident at St. Vincent's, Elias was moved. They didn't send him to a normal nursing home. They sent him to Pine Valley, a grim, concrete facility on the edge of the city. It looked less like a hospital and more like a minimum security prison. Maya had to take 2 buses and walk a mile to get there. When she arrived, the front desk didn't ask for her ID. They just buzzed her in. Elias was in room 304. He looked better physically. The IVs were gone, but his eyes were darting around the room. When Maya walked in, he put a finger to his lips. Elias, whispering, don't speak, the vents, they have microphones. Maya sat close, terrified. Maya, Elias, who are they? The doctors. Elias, doctors, orderlies. They are all on Sterling's payroll. They are keeping me alive just long enough to find out where I hid the data. Elias reached under his pillow. He pulled out a small, leather-bound notebook. It was battered, stained with coffee and rain. He pressed it into Maya's hands. Elias, take this, put it in your bag, do it now. Maya hid the notebook under her coat. Maya, what is it? Elias, they think I'm senile, they think I'm writing gibberish, but it's the ledger, Maya, every bribe Sterling paid. Every senator he owns, it's all in the numbers. He gripped her hand. His skin was cold. Elias, if something happens to me, if I stop breathing, you mail the letter I gave you, do not hesitate. You burn the world down, Maya. You hear me, Maya? I hear you, Commander. That was the last time Maya saw him alive. The call came on a Tuesday morning, 6 a.m. Maya was making coffee, dreading her shift at the plaza. Ring, ring, voice, Miss Davis. This is Dr. Aris from Pine Valley. Maya's stomach dropped. Maya, is he okay? Dr. Aris, I'm afraid Mr. Thorne passed away last night. Cardiac arrest. It was very sudden. Maya, sudden, he was fine yesterday. He was sitting up, he was talking. Dr. Aris, his heart was weak, Miss Davis. These things happen. We need you to come collect his personal effects. If nobody claims the body by noon, he will be cremated. Maya, cremated? No. You can't touch him. I'm coming. Maya slammed the phone down. She didn't cry. She couldn't cry. The suspicion in her gut was burning too hot for tears. Cremation destroys evidence. They wanted him gone. When Maya arrived, the room was already scrubbed clean. The bed was made. The smell of bleach was overpowering. Dr. Aris handed her a clear plastic bag. Dr. Aris, this is everything. Inside, the navy blue blanket she had bought him, a pair of worn shoes, and a single sealed envelope addressed to General V. Vance, Pentagon. Maya looked at the doctor. He refused to meet her eyes. Maya, where is the body? Dr. Aris. Already moved to the county morgue. The paperwork is signed. Maya, you killed him. The doctor flinched. He looked at the security camera in the corner, then leaned in, his voice barely a whisper. Dr. Aris, get out of here, girl. Before they decide you have a heart condition, too. Maya grabbed the bag and ran. She didn't stop running until she was on the bus. Maya sat on her floor, surrounded by the remnants of Elias' life. She opened the notebook he had given her. Page after page of numbers, 10 minus 22 minus 24, 500 million. ACCT minus 8,890. It looked like nonsense. But then she turned to the last page. It wasn't numbers, it was a letter. Maya, if you are reading this, I am gone. The world will tell you I was a nobody, a bum, a failure, but you knew the truth. She reached into the plastic bag and found a photograph tucked inside the folded blanket. It was an old black and white photo. It showed a young Elias in full dress blues, shaking hands with the President of the United States. And standing next to him, looking young and sharp, was General Vance. On the back, Elias had written, "The only men I trust." Maya looked at the sealed envelope addressed to the Pentagon. She remembered her promise, burn the world down. The next morning, Maya stood in line at the post office. She felt like she was carrying a bomb. Every time someone looked at her, she flinched. Was that man in the suit watching her? Was that black car following her? She reached the counter. Clerk, can I help you? Maya placed the letter on the scale. Maya, certified mail to the Pentagon. Inspector General's office. The clerk looked at the address, then at Maya's worn-out clothes. Clerk, that's $8.50. Maya counted out her crumpled ones and quarters. It was her lunch money for the next 3 days. She watched the clerk stamp it. Thump. It was done. The signal was sent. 3 days passed. Silence. Maya went to work. She scrubbed the floors at Sterling Plaza. She saw Marcus Sterling laughing in the lobby, alive and rich, while Elias was dead. She felt helpless. Had the letter been thrown away? Was General Vance even real? Then came the knock. Friday, 4 a.m. Boom, boom, boom. It shook the walls. This wasn't a polite knock. This was a command. Maya rolled out of bed, grabbing a kitchen knife. She crept to the door. Maya, who is it? Voice, federal agents. Open the door. Maya's heart hammered. Had Sterling sent them? Was this the end? She unlocked the chain and opened the door slowly. Standing in the hallway was a mountain of a man. He wore a gray tactical uniform with no patches. Behind him were 2 soldiers with rifles. Officer, Maya Davis? Maya, yes. The officer stepped into the light. He held up a plastic bag. Inside was the letter she had mailed. It was opened. Officer, my name is Colonel Hayes. You sent this to General Vance. Maya, I did. Elias told me to. Colonel Hayes looked at her, his expression unreadable. Colonel Hayes, pack a bag, Miss Davis. You're coming with us. Maya, am I under arrest? The colonel lowered his voice. Colonel Hayes, no, but you are currently the most high-value target in the United States. Sterling knows you have the notebook. and his hit squad is about 10 minutes behind us. He checked his watch. Colonel Hayes, we have to move now. Colonel Hayes didn't take Maya to the airport. He took her to the roof. The rain was lashing down sideways. Maya shielded her eyes against the roaring wind of rotor blades. A matte black helicopter, no markings, no lights, was hovering just inches off the gravel. Colonel Hayes, move. We have a 3-minute window before Sterling's drones pick up the heat signature. Maya clutched her bag, the one containing the notebook, and scrambled into the chopper. Maya, where are we going? The Pentagon? Hayes slammed the door shut. He handed her a headset. Colonel Hayes, the Pentagon is compromised, Miss Davis. We're going to the hive. The chopper banked hard, diving into the cloud layer, disappearing from the city skyline. 2 hours later, they landed in a cornfield in rural Virginia. But the cornfield was a hologram. As they approached, the ground opened up, a massive hydraulic lift descending into the earth. Maya stepped out into a facility that looked like something from a sci-fi movie, walls of glass, humming servers, and dozens of analysts working in silence. General Vance was waiting for her. He looked tired. General Vance, welcome to Cyber Command, Miss Davis. You made good time. Maya, General, I did what Elias asked. I mailed the letter. I have the notebook. Now tell me, did you catch the people who killed him? Vance looked at Colonel Hayes, then back at Maya. General Vance, come with me. They walked down a long corridor. General Vance, the enemy we are fighting isn't just one banker, Maya. Marcus Sterling is the front man for the Red Syndicate. They are a global cabal that topples governments for profit. Elias spent 20 years building a weapon to stop them. Maya, the notebook. General Vance, the notebook is the trigger, but a trigger is useless without the gunman. Vance stopped in front of a heavy steel door labeled Restricted Access. General Vance, you asked if we caught the people who killed him. The answer is no. He swiped his keycard. The light turned green. General Vance, because you can't kill a ghost. The door slid open. Maya walked in. The room was dimly lit, filled with monitors showing live feeds of the global stock exchange. Standing in front of the screens, wearing a headset and typing furiously on a holographic keyboard, was a man. He wasn't wearing a dirty coat. He was wearing a tactical turtleneck. He looked sharp, focused, alive. He turned around. Elias, hello, Maya, I hear you still have my notebook. Maya dropped her bag. She didn't know whether to hug him or punch him. Maya, you died. I identified your body. Elias, you identified a synthetic cadaver. It cost the taxpayers $2 million, worth every penny to see Sterling's face at the funeral. Maya walked up to him and shoved his shoulder hard. Maya, I grieved for you. I almost got killed by a hit squad because of you. Elias caught her hand. His expression softened. Elias, I know, and I am sorry. It was the only way to get you out of Chicago safely. If Sterling thought I was alive, he would have nuked your apartment building just to get to me. He led her to the main screen. It showed a countdown clock, 24 and 0 seconds. Elias, we don't have time for apologies, Maya. We have 24 hours. Maya, until what? Elias, until Sterling launches his IPO. He is taking his money laundering operation public. Once that stock goes live, the Red Syndicate becomes legitimate. They will be untouchable. General Vance, we have the evidence to arrest him, but his lawyers will tie it up in court for years. We need to stop the launch. Maya, so hack him. You're the cyber genius. Elias, I can't. His servers are air-gapped. They aren't connected to the internet. The only way to upload the virus is manually. Elias picked up the battered notebook. He ripped out a page that had a small microchip embedded in the paper. Elias, someone has to walk into Sterling Tower, get into the server room during the launch party, and plug this in. Maya, okay, so send the SEALs. Elias, we can't. The building is fitted with biometric scanners. They scan for adrenaline, heart rate, and military-grade weaponry. Any soldier we send will trigger the alarms before they reach the lobby. Elias looked at Maya. General Vance looked at Maya. Maya, why are you looking at me? Elias, because you are invisible, Maya. You cleaned that building for 2 years. You know the service corridors. You know the shift changes. And most importantly, your biometrics are already in their system as low threat. Maya, you want me to break in? I'm a janitor, Elias. I'm not a spy. Elias, tonight you're not a janitor. Elias pressed a button on the wall. A panel slid open, revealing a wardrobe. Inside was a stunning, floor-length emerald green evening gown, diamond earrings, and a pair of high heels. Elias, tonight you are the Duchess of Almani, a wealthy foreign investor looking to buy sterling stock. Maya, I can't pull that off. I don't know how to act rich. Elias smiled. It was the same warm smile he used to give her over peanut butter sandwiches. Elias, you don't need to act, kid. You have more class in your work boots than those people have in their limousines. Besides, he tossed her the heavy silver coin. Elias, you have the best teacher in the world. They had 12 hours to turn a Chicago janitor into European royalty. The montage was grueling. Hour 1, Colonel Hayes teaching Maya how to walk in heels without looking at the floor. Chin up, eyes on the horizon. Rich people never look down because they know the world will move for them. Hour 3, Elias teaching her the backstory. The House of Almani made its fortune in shipping. You hate champagne, you love whiskey, and you think American bankers are quaint. Hour 6, combat training. General Vance showing her how to use a taser disguised as a lipstick. Aim for the neck, drop them and keep walking. Hour 9, the tech. Elias showing her the server room schematics. Elias, you have a 3-minute window. The guards change shifts at 21 o'clock. You slip out of the party, enter the service elevator, override the lock with my keycard, and plant the chip. Maya, what if I get caught? Elias looked at her dead in the eye. Elias, if you get caught, I will blow the building. I won't let them take you. It was time. Maya stood in front of the mirror. She didn't recognize herself. The emerald dress hugged her frame perfectly. Her hair was swept up in an elegant chignon. The diamonds caught the light. She didn't look like a girl who ate expired bread. She looked like a queen. Elias walked in wearing a tuxedo. He stopped. For a moment, the hardened commander was speechless. Elias, you look. Maya. Like a lie. Elias, no, like the truth finally revealed. He offered her his arm. Elias, the car is waiting, Your Highness. Let's go crash a party. The Sterling Gala was the event of the decade. 300 of the world's wealthiest people were gathered in the penthouse ballroom, sipping champagne that cost more than a car. Marcus Sterling stood at the center of it all, basking in the applause. He looked invincible. At the entrance, the security guards were checking invitations with biometric scanners. A black limousine pulled up. The door opened and a woman stepped out. She wore an emerald green gown that seemed to silence the room. Diamonds dripped from her ears. She walked with a cold, terrifying elegance. Maya Davis, the janitor. She walked up to the scanner. Her heart was hammering against her ribs like a sledgehammer, but her face was stone. Beep. Security guard, welcome, Your Grace, the Duchess of Almani. Maya walked in. In her ear, a tiny earpiece buzzed. It was Elias. Elias, you're in. Don't look at the floor, Maya. You own this room. Sterling is at the bar. Engage him. Maya whispering, engage him, he'll recognize me. Elias, he won't. To him, you were furniture, a uniform. He never looked at your face. Go. Maya took a breath, grabbed a glass of champagne, and walked straight toward the man who had kicked Elias' bag into the gutter. Maya, Mr. Sterling, a magnificent party. Sterling turned around. He looked her up and down, his eyes hungry. He didn't see the janitor, he saw money. Sterling, Your Grace, my team told me you were flying in from Monaco. I'm honored. Maya, the honor is mine. I hear your new stock launch at midnight is going to change the world. Sterling, it will certainly change my world. Are you looking to invest? Maya, heavily, but I never invest without seeing the engine room. I assume your servers are secure. Sterling laughed, arrogant. Sterling, secure? Duchess, my servers are in a vault 3 floors down that has more security than the White House. Not even a ghost could get in there. Maya smiled over the rim of her glass. Maya, good, because I'd hate to lose my money to a glitch. At 11:45 p.m., the lights dimmed for Sterling's keynote speech. While the billionaires looked at the stage, Maya slipped behind a velvet curtain. She kicked off her high heels. She wasn't the Duchess anymore. She was the ghost. She sprinted down the service corridor, the same hallway she used to mop every Tuesday. Elias, 2 guards at the elevator, used the lipstick. Maya turned the corner. 2 massive guards blocked the freight elevator. Guard 1, hey, this area is restricted. Maya didn't stop. She pulled the lipstick tube from her clutch. She pressed the button. Zap. A high-voltage taser charge dropped the first guard. The second guard reached for his radio, but Maya was faster. She spun and slammed her heavy clutch, weighted with a brick of C4 decoy into his jaw. He crumbled, "Maya, sorry, I'm late for work." She swiped Elias' golden keycard. The elevator opened. She reached the server room. It was a freezing cold fortress of blue lights and humming machines. In the center was the main terminal, the brain of Sterling's empire. "Elias, you have 60 seconds, Maya. Sterling is starting his speech. Plug in the chip." Maya ran to the terminal. She pulled the microchip page from her dress. She jammed it into the port. Access DENIED. "Maya, Elias, it's not working. It says biometric override required." "Elias, damn it. He changed the protocol. It needs a fingerprint." "Maya, I don't have his fingerprint." "Elias, no, but you have yours." "Maya, what?" "Elias, you worked there for 2 years, Maya. Your prints are in the maintenance database. Override the admin privilege. Log in as yourself." Maya froze. If she did this, they would know it was her. There would be no hiding. "Maya, if I do this, I can never go back." "Elias, I know, trust me." Maya placed her hand on the scanner. Scanning, identity confirmed, Davis, Maya, janitorial staff. Access granted. She hit enter. Upstairs, Marcus Sterling was standing at the podium. A massive screen behind him displayed his logo. "Sterling, they said I was too aggressive. They said I broke the rules, but tonight at midnight we don't just break the rules. We rewrite them." He raised his glass. "Sterling, to the future." Suddenly, the massive screen flickered. The logo dissolved into static. The room gasped. "Sterling, what is this? Technical support, fix the screen." Then a face appeared on the screen. It wasn't static. It was Elias. He was sitting in the cyber command chair, looking 50 feet tall on the ballroom wall. Elias on screen. "Hello, Marcus." Sterling dropped his glass. It shattered, the sound echoing in the silent room. "Sterling, you're dead. I saw you in the coffin." Elias. "And I saw you kick my bag, Marcus. I saw you spit on my grave. But tonight I see something else." Files began to scroll across the screen. Thousands of documents, bank transfers, emails, photos of Sterling shaking hands with terrorists. Elias. "Ladies and gentlemen, the stock launch is canceled. But don't worry, I am transferring Mr. Sterling's entire fortune to the Veterans Relief Fund as we speak." On the screen, a bank bar appeared. "Sterling Global Holdings, $0. Sterling, no, no. Turn it off." Sterling ran toward the tech booth, screaming, "Sterling, kill it, shut it down." Suddenly, the doors to the ballroom burst open, but it wasn't waiters, it was General Vance. Behind him were 20 FBI agents and Colonel Hayes. "General Vance, Marcus Sterling, you are under arrest for treason, money laundering, and the attempted murder of a federal officer." Sterling fell to his knees. He looked at the crowd, his friends, his investors. They were all filming him with their phones. He was alone. The trial of Marcus Sterling lasted 3 days. The evidence was undeniable. He was sentenced to life in federal prison without parole. But the real story wasn't about the villain. It was about the heroes. 1 month later, Maya walked into the lobby of the building. The name, Sterling Plaza, had been ripped down. The new sign read, "The Phoenix Center." It was a foundation dedicated to housing and employing homeless veterans. Maya wasn't wearing a uniform. She was wearing a sharp navy suit. She walked to the front desk. Sitting behind the desk was a new receptionist. "Maya, good morning." Receptionist. "Good morning, Miss Davis. The board of directors is waiting for you upstairs." Maya smiled. She walked to the elevator, the executive elevator. But before she went up, she walked outside, to the bench. The bench was empty, but sitting next to it, feeding the pigeons, was a man in a nice wool coat. Elias. He stood up when he saw her. He looked healthy, happy. "Elias, Miss Davis. You're late for your board meeting." "Maya, I had to stop for breakfast." She pulled a brown paper bag from her designer purse. She handed it to him. "Elias, let me guess. Peanut butter sandwich?" "Maya, and a black coffee. 2 sugars." Elias took the sandwich. He looked at the building, then back at Maya. "Elias, you know, Maya, I commanded armies. I wrote codes that changed the world. But do you know what the bravest thing I ever saw was?" Maya. "What?" Elias. "A girl with $12 in her pocket sharing her lunch with a ghost." He held up his coffee in a toast. "Elias, to the invisible people." Maya clinked her coffee cup against his. "Maya, to the invisible people." They stood there for a moment, the CEO and the commander, watching the city wake up. The world had moved on. The news cycle had changed. But on that corner in front of that building, dignity had finally found a home.